Giuliana Rancic is an amazing designer here at HSN and one of the world's most beautiful and recognized faces, gracing the biggest red carpets. But when she was much younger, that wasn't always the story. In fact, it was a completely different story. More on that coming up on this episode of Look Who's Crafting Now. And look who's here. It is the incredible Giuliana Rancic.
I am so excited about this, but I'm nervous.
I know.
Because,
did you look at your box? Because I know it's been sitting there for a couple days.
Absolutely not. There's two types of people, those who would peek in the box and those who wouldn't.
So go ahead and open your box and let's reveal what our project's gonna be. And I will tell you, I was inspired by a beautiful wreath that you had designed for your August and Leo collection on hsn.com.
Okay. Oh, wow. Wow, that looks like a lot of work, Suzanne.
Well, we're gonna spend about 5 hours doing it, so here we go.
Is this a good moment to tell you that I never crafted before? Did anyone tell you that by any chance?
No, but I know you're such a brilliant designer, both fashion and accessories, that you can handle this. And by the way, I've had other people who've come up with some pretty crazy stuff, so no fear here, okay?
Okay, wow, this is amazing. Little butterflies, very on trend, the butterfly. Oh, wow, we're getting fancy.
Yeah, now you gotta plug that one in. That's a glue gun.
Okay, thank you for telling me.
That's crucial to what we're doing.
Okay, this is exciting. Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna need those. Keep going.
Do you see how I look at you, Suzanne, for explanations? Like, and this is going to do what today? Okay, all right. Okay, yes.
Yeah, hold on to that. That's key. It's kind of a brilliant. We talked about the butterflies. Very pretty.
Ooh, wow, this is beautiful. Hold on.
I know, isn't that pretty? Now it's all gonna come down. It's all gonna come apart.
Oh.
Keep going.
Yes. Oh my God, you don't even know. I was literally thinking to myself, this is gonna be so easy. It's kind of done. But no.
No, you gotta take it all off.
Oh man. Really? We don't want to just leave it like this for people to enjoy? Oh, so I take this all off and we start at the beginning. This is good. This is fun. Okay. Yes.
Well, wait till we're 5 hours in. It might not be so fun at that point.
Now you know that the August and Leo wreath, I did not myself assemble, but I did design it, but did not assemble it. But you know what? This could become part of the August and Leo collection.
There you go. That would be awesome.
There we go.
Okay,
all right.
So what's going to happen is you're going to take your little pliers, and what we're going to do is you're going to start with basically your greenery. Okay, the green, just the green stuff. Yeah. And then what you want to do is you're going to kind of cut off pieces, and then you're going to hot glue them around the wreath. And I kind of like to layer mine, so you can kind of layer them. And in fact,
Suzanne, this is a bad start already. Look at this. I can't even get the ribbon that came on the box off of the wreath, much less design one.
We can incorporate that if we have to. There we go. There you go. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna take how many? Okay, like this.
Well, you know, and you just kind of take a couple of. You want to clip them off, or you know, you kind of want bunches, but you want to kind of clip it, and you're gonna have to get down there and really, like, you got to use that little tool. See it? The tool just popped it off.
Wait, so each one take off like the branch?
Maybe do 3. Leave one big branch, like a bunch. Okay. You just need a bunch, you know.
Okay.
Kind of a little bunch. So now we are going to go back to Italy. We are going to go back to your childhood because I am fascinated the fact that you came over when you were so young and didn't know a lick of English, and then fast forward, you know, decades later, and you're just this incredible TV personality and designer and, you know, New York Times bestselling author and a philanthropist. And, you know, that to me is the true American story. And I'm such a nerd. I've got goosebumps that we can talk about this. So kind of tell me, what was that transition like?
Yeah, it was truly my parents really chasing the American dream. You know, we came for a 2-week vacation to Washington, D.C. to visit our 2 of my uncles, my sister, my mom's brothers were in the restaurant business in D.C. They just started in the restaurant business, and they said, you got to come over here for a 2-week vacation. So we came over, and my dad immediately said, this is it. Like, there's so much opportunity. You know, I'm a tailor. I want to, like, one day my dream is to own a beautiful store here and a shop here. And that was it. So we came on that vacation, kind of never went back. I mean, my parents went back to get our things, and we'd go back in the summer, but we moved here, you know, when I was a little girl. And so I didn't speak any English. I actually was in school in Washington, D.C., and, you know, none of the teachers spoke Italian. I didn't speak English. So I would kind of sit in the back of the classroom and doodle and kind of be in my own world because I couldn't really talk to anyone. And I would come home after school and watch Sesame Street and cartoons. I started actually, for some reason, gravitating towards watching the news. And so I would watch the news every night. And the next thing I knew, I started learning English from watching television. And that's really how I learned. But what is kind of wild about the whole thing is that I came to this country not knowing the language, and yet, and of all careers, I chose journalism, you know, and I started out as a writer and a producer, and I just was so drawn to the English language. It was something that came actually very naturally to me. And it's kind of wild that I made a career out of it. Do you know what I mean?
I know you're especially fond of your dad. And I want you to talk a little bit about the fact that he's a master tailor, not a little bit of his history, but I also want you to describe, like, for me, how amazing it is that you now are a designer. So was it kind of in your DNA to follow in his footsteps in a really weird way? Like, you went kind of full circle. Isn't that interesting?
My father was the oldest of 6 children, and when he was 11 years old, he had to go to work. And his parents said to him, you can either pick a butcher shop or a tailor shop. And he chose the tailor shop. And so my father has worked in a tailor shop since he was 11. And at 83 years old, he still works in a beautiful shop, and it's his own store. And my whole life, I've seen my father create these beautiful pieces for his clients. And I think that I just from watching him at a young age and learning from him, I just fell in love with fashion and design. You know, I always wore different things. In fact, kids at school would sometimes make fun of my outfits because they were so, like, kind of out there sometimes. And yet a year later, they'd be in style, you know? So I'm like, ha ha ha, you know, like, see, I told you guys it was going to be cute. So I love, even at a young age, I could, like, forecast fashion, if you will. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I knew that what I was wearing today might seem a little too fashion forward, but then it would be popular in a year because I was kind of, I don't know why it was coming naturally to me. And I definitely get that from my dad. And my mom has great fashion sense as well. So yeah,
Wait, can I ask you a question? Have you ever been on the red carpet doing one of, you know, the E-entertainment things, the Globes and all the fancy stuff you've done? And has your dad ever called you afterward and said, that outfit just didn't work, darling?
Suzanne, I'll tell you the truth. So my parents, since 20 years ago, I started on my first red carpet, okay? First of all, they watch every red carpet. They watched every episode of E! News that I was on for 17 years. And they're the cutest. Even in my dad's store, he bought a TV just to have E! News tapes on a loop. So he would literally just have all my stuff looping. And it was just the cutest thing. Like, they're just so proud, and they're, like, just the most supportive, beautiful people.
Come on, he never said you wore a bad outfit.
Well, no, this is what I was gonna say, sorry.
Oh.
So what happened was, no. I send my parents, for the past 20 years, I send them my choices beforehand, pictures of my choices. So when I do a fitting, right, we narrow it down to, like, my top, 3 choices, let's say, and we take pictures of them. And then the first people I send them to is my parents to get their advice. So if they didn't like my outfit, then I'd be calling them.
It's their fault. Yeah, it's their fault, basically.
So they're actually, I gotta be honest, they're involved in that process early on, So they're part of that process because I know that my dad, they just have incredible, like I said, they have an incredible sense of style. So they actually help me pick out my gowns.
I hope you don't mind, because I think this is encouragement to everyone to tell us your story, because you weren't all this glamorous stuff. In fact, you considered, and other people called yourself ugly, which really bothered me when I was reading that. Can you tell us why a little bit?
I had scoliosis, which is curvature of the spine. And, you know, the scoliosis really set in about 13 years old. And so, as you can imagine, that's also an age where it's already hard, you know, for a girl to hit that age and changes start happening. So I realized, like, wait a second, one of my hips is a lot higher than the other. So I would put on pants or jeans and you would see a significant difference. So I started wearing baggy clothes. I was very insecure. You know, at the time I was going through what a lot of kids go through, you know, like the braces, the bad skin, all of it, you know, and just that awkward stage while feeling crooked and uncomfortable in my skin, you know. So my dad said, I'm altering all of your clothes for you, you know. So he would take my jeans and he would make them the same length and he would help me with all my clothes so that I felt more confident. And so, you know, we talk about kind of fashion, and listen, fashion's fun and it's exciting, but at the same time, fashion can also really like help your state of mind, you know? And so for me, my dad just making those alterations and like me being able to start wearing those things that I couldn't wear was definitely helpful for my self-confidence, but I still had pretty low confidence. And then when I was in college, my scoliosis got even worse. I mean, it had been getting worse through the years. And then it hit like the worst point in college where I had a very bad curve. And I went to the doctor. I was in a lot of pain every day. And he said, I'm sorry, Giuliana, I know you wanted to avoid surgery, but it's time to get surgery. So when I was a senior in college, I had I had 2 rods put in my back. I would say that really that was the first time that I can remember that I felt confident, you know, was in my 20s. I started feeling a little more confident. And, but what's wild is like, once again, kind of going back to the idea of like what I do for a living, you know, I would never have thought at 13 that part of my job one day would be to wear form-fitting clothes and gowns on a red carpet. For me, I just thought, you know what, even though that insecure little girl is still inside of me, I'm going to let that confident woman take center stage instead. And you have to work on that. You know, that's not just something that comes overnight. And so I now feel like, you know what? I'm going to look at all the positives in my life and I'm going to draw my confidence from that.
The next struggle, you know, you went through, obviously you had your bout with cancer, and then you turn around and you had infertility issues, which you've been very open about this. So,
yes,
you know,
yes.
I hope you don't feel I'm speaking out of turn.
Of course.
It is so remarkable to see that you live that truth because you've done it multiple times, which is so amazing to me.
When Bill and I were going through infertility, trying to have a baby, and it wasn't working and no one could tell us why. I remember sitting in church and I would go, you know, why? Why, God, why isn't it happening for us? Well, it was our 3rd round of in vitro fertilization and we were going to a new doctor in Denver, Colorado. And part of his protocol, Suzanne, is you have to get a mammogram, no matter how old you are, whether you're 26, 36, 46, he wants you to get a mammogram. And the reason is if for some reason you have breast cancer and you don't know it, like especially estrogen positive breast cancer, the last thing he wants to do is get you pregnant because estrogen positive breast cancer is fueled by hormones, right? So when you're pregnant, there's a huge surge in hormones. So the last thing he wants to do is get you pregnant if by the chance you have, you know, estrogen positive breast cancer. So I hear this, I have to get a mammogram. I'm like thinking, really? I'm 36. Oh man, okay, I'll go get one. I'm sure it's fine. Well, lo and behold, I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And what that told me was, oh my gosh, that's the why. Had I gotten pregnant naturally, I don't know when I would have found out about this estrogen positive breast cancer that was in my body. And the pregnancy or 2 maybe, right? Maybe back to back we have kids, could have fueled the tumor. And I don't know what would have happened, but it's amazing how life works. So I love to share my story, as hard as it is sometimes, like even just talking about it there, I get teary-eyed. But I love to share it because I hope, so many people have come up to me through the years, especially when Bill and I had a reality show called Giuliana and Bill, where we opened up about infertility and breast cancer. So if by sharing my story, as personal as it is, if by sharing my story, I can help people, then what a gift.
Tell me the story about watching the first season of Apprentice with your best friend. I think her name's Colette, right?
Yes.
Colette? Tell us what happened, because everybody needs to know this story.
Well, Colette's probably watching, because when I told her I'm going to be crafting, she didn't believe it. She said, I have to see it to believe it. So, hello, Colette. See? How nice is this? So basically, Colette and I was a reporter at E! News at the time. So this was a long time ago, almost 20 years ago. And Colette and I were best friends, and everyone was buzzing about this new show called The Apprentice. And everyone's talking about it. At the time, Suzanne, if you remember, competition reality shows were pretty new, right? There was Apprentice was premiering and Survivor over on CBS. So yeah, it was just like a big time in that kind of competition reality TV. So we watched it the first episode, and about halfway through the episode, maybe even before that, they're introducing each of the contestants, and this guy pops up and he's like, hi, my name is Bill and I'm from Chicago. And I'm like, And I look at Colette and she looks at me and I'm like, he's cute. She's like, so cute. She's like, that is so your type. She says this to me. She goes, that's so your type. I go, he's so my type. And she goes, oh my gosh, Jules. Like, so we're watching the show. And by the end of the show, she goes, and this is so how Colette speaks. She goes, Jules, you have to marry him. And I say, I do have to marry him. Okay, like meanwhile, we just watched him on a reality show for like an hour, okay? And already I'm like, I need to marry him. And there was just something about Bill, week after week, watching him on that show. He just played the game so like fairly and honestly, like so much fairness and honesty. And like, he was a little bit like under the radar. He wasn't like a drama person. And I loved his personality. I loved the way he conducted himself, his character. You could just tell what kind of guy he was. And then after that, he won The Apprentice. I was so excited he won. I'd been rooting for him. And I tell E, I say, if an opportunity ever comes up to interview The Apprentice, I watched every episode. I can handle it.
Wait, did they know you had ulterior motives? Did you go to E and say, I really kind of dig this guy? Or did you just tell him,
no.
As a strict reporter, I must go interview him?
Yes, I played like, oh, no, I'm a very professional reporter. I really studied the show. So finally the opportunity, and it was kind of a while later, the opportunity comes up to interview Bill. And at this point, I had just been made the anchor of E! News, and I go to the assignment editor and I say, I heard there's an interview with Bill Rancic and you gave the interview to someone else. I can do it. I'm a big fan. And she goes, no, well, you're the anchor now. And we thought you'd be too busy. You want to focus on being the anchor, and we're going to give it to someone else. So I say, no. I really think I should do this. I'm the anchor. This is important.
Gosh.
And she just looked at me like, you have got to be kidding. She goes, I know why you want to go interview Bill. And I'm like, stop it. And so right before I go to do the interview, I do what any good journalist does. I Google Bill Rancic girlfriend. Because I need to know, does he have a girlfriend? What are we dealing with here? And up pops a picture of Bill and a girl. I'm like, wait a second, he has a girlfriend? I didn't know about that. So I go to the interview and I'm kind of sitting there and I'm just like, I'm a little bummed. Because I'm going to be professional, do the interview, but I'm like, oh, darn, I can't believe he has a girlfriend. I have, this crush on him. So it's my turn to interview him. I'm interviewing him. And all of a sudden, I get to the point in the interview where I say, so, your boss just welcomed a baby. And what about you? Are you going to settle down anytime soon with your girlfriend?
That is the best.
Suzanne, I feel like you might ask some funny question like that too if you were in my shoes.
Yes. Heck yes.
And he goes, girlfriend? And I go, yeah. And he goes, what girlfriend? We broke up 3 weeks ago.
And you're like, cha-ching.
As Bill puts it, maybe I should get him to tell the story. Hold on one second, Suzanne. Let me see.
Okay.
Hold on. So Bill, I just figured, I was telling Suzanne the story of when I first interviewed you for the first time. And I already got to the part where you say, girlfriend, what girlfriend? We broke up 3 weeks ago. And I'm gonna let Bill tell it because he says I downplay it. So go ahead.
No,
what
she made
then?
quite the transformation. Quite the transformation. Her whole demeanor changed, and she kind of put her hand on my shoulder, and it was really
She
quite
was giving
remarkable.
you a little.
Yeah, a little touch.
No, Suzanne.
Yeah.
No. I did that because I was just being like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like going, oh, that muscle. I just wanted to touch
Yeah,
it.
right. Sure.
Yes.
All right. Well, enjoy. This looks beautiful.
Wait, Bill, isn't this good?
Gonna hang that on our
She's
front
doing
door.
so good.
How
You did a good job.
Swear?
Yeah.
Thank you so
Really
much.
good.
Okay.
Well, nice chatting, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye,
love
Bill.
you,
Thanks for
Bill.
hanging out.
Bye, Bill. Bye. Yes.
Okay.
So,
That is so
What?
cute.
oh my God, Bill's so funny. As he walks out, he goes, honey, are we going to have lunch? Like, it's like,
Could you?
it's like
Could you
every
wrap it
conversation,
up?
like, yeah, no, more like when we're at lunch, it's like, what are we having for dinner? When we're at dinner, what are we having for breakfast?
What's for
It's
breakfast?
just so funny. What's for breakfast? But anyway, so I'll tell you, Suzanne. So he says, no, I don't have a girlfriend. We were engaged 8 months later.
No way. Oh my gosh, that's
Yes.
so fast.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
I know. And that was 15 years ago. we
Oh
met.
my gosh. I do want to ask you just one last question. How do you want people to think of you? What's the most important aspect that you hope when your name comes up, they say what?
Even after I'm gone, I hope people say, she was really nice to everyone. That's simple. Because that to me is the most important thing and quality someone can have. Just to be nice to everyone. Like anyone who walks by, you smile. Because I always say this, everyone has a story and chances are it's a pretty damn good one. You know, like everyone's lived through ups and downs. Everyone's been through it. And just smiling and like being nice to people and asking them where they're from and a little learning about their lives. Like, to me, I love that. And I think that's one of the reasons I was so drawn to the job I had to interviewing people for 20 years, because I love hearing about people's stories and lives. I have such a respect for their journeys. And so I hope that's what it is, because every single human that I come in contact with, I truly just try to like leave them with a smile, you know what I mean? And a good feeling. And I think that is the least thing we can all do for each other.
Absolutely love it. Well, Giuliana, let's show our creations. You ready? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yours is gorgeous. Yours is so
Wait.
pretty. You did a great job.
Are you kidding me right now, Suzanne?
It's a little something.
I thought mine was a masterpiece. Look at Suzanne's.
Yours looks fabulous.
Suzanne, you're good. Can
you know.
Can I have that for August and Leo? Can that become our new wreath?
Oh my gosh, that would be the greatest compliment ever. Yes, it can.
You're amazing. Suzanne, you're good. Wow.
All right, girl.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much. And I really appreciate your time. I know how wildly busy you are. And thank Bill for coming on, too. And it's just, we love you so much. And thank you for hanging out with me today.
Aw, I love you, Suzanne. And one other thing, just like a part 2 of that last question.
Yeah.
And I hope that you're turning on HSN and I'm still on the air in many, many years, because I intend to be, and it's my favorite place. So I love you, Suzanne. I hope we work together for many, many years. I know we will. I know we will.
I know. Well, thanks so much, Giuliana. Bye, sweetie.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Bye, Suzanne.
Wow, wasn't that amazing? Well, be sure to check out all of Giuliana's line on hsn.com. She has not only fashion, but she has beautiful home decor, and who knows, maybe my wreath will make an appearance. I would love that. Also, be sure to check out our HSN crafting supplies. We have lots of really creative products and a lot of creative ideas, so you can craft along with us next time. And be sure to see another episode of Look Who's Crafting Now.